Hello, friends. Hi, this is Dr. Tirath Gill. It's another pleasant evening. Today, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about this idea of being frugal, F-R-U-G-A-L. What does this mean? So, frugality is the ability to use one's resources in a thoughtful and wise manner. It is an ability that helps people tide over difficult circumstances, be it financial or otherwise. It does not equate to being miserly or a penny pincher, but basically implies that one has the intelligence to curb one's unnecessary expenses and focus on needs and not necessarily wants. And this exercise in frugality builds character and muscle, our emotional muscle as well, where we can in a resilient manner, face adverse outcomes. The practice of frugality also has spiritual value. Frugality is one of those gems that you uncover, get off the dust off the surface, and there's a very, valuable there under this value of frugality. The parallels in our health area, frugality it's built into our system because, we have been an agricultural society with food security only for about 10,000 years. And before that, we were subsistence hunter-gatherers, and security was not there. So we had to be frugal, and part of that frugality was being able to go through a period of fasting. It may have been involuntary, but either way, you had to survive. And our bodies adapted so that now, if we engage in intermittent fasting, it is actually conducive, it's more aligned with our physiology and our regulating mechanisms. And we end up with a better health profile if we do take intermittent fasts, which simulates that early need for frugality. So the frugality here would be to, have to cut down the calories. And calorie means no calories. You really have to have a fast, total fast. So that leads to good health, In terms of frugality in our use of resources as a society, recycling is a good example of being frugal, because you don't want to, keep manufacturing plastic and dumping that into the environment. Frugality is to recycle it, and paper for that matter as well. So that is, saving of our resources, and it's a good quality linked to this ability to be frugal and resourceful and thoughtful. In spiritual matters as well, I think it is good to contemplate if there's a lack of something, to cultivate a sense of contentedness, equanimity, and with that gratitude, seek solutions and be willing to go through a period where there may be trials, but persevere with your plan and engage in a plan to overcome any obstacles that you may have. So we have, that way we develop the ability to overcome, and this adds to our resilience as well. Interestingly, countries that have high consumerism, there's conspicuous consumerism, like there's one-upsmanship on social media. Everyone is trying to market themselves with the latest and greatest. So driven by the consumer media, driven by the media that promotes sales of items that perhaps you don't even need. So countries that are into this one-upsmanship, this competitive vibe, they are not being frugal, of course, obviously, but they also tend to have more difficulty, the people that engage in that have difficulty with their mental health. There are higher rates of depression. In fact, South Korea, which rates very high on the consumerism scale, has one of the highest suicide rate. Japan is also very high in consumerism and also has high rates of depression, isolation, and suicide. So what does that say? Consumerism is not the answer, and maybe Lord Buddha was right, and when he said that we should not, pin our hopes on worldly accumulations, and but to look for a deeper sense of satisfaction within our deeper selves, within our spiritual selves. So definitely there are lessons to be learned. Costa Rica also has this culture of being able to overcome, of fortitude, of supporting each other, and they have a very healthy state of mental health, much better than some of the developed countries. And that goes along with this frugal lifestyle where they learn to rely on each other and are resourceful and are grateful. That's built into their culture. So there's some valuable things to be had and uncovered there by being thrifty, by being resourceful, to be frugal. We demonstrate strength and resilience, and it's worth cultivating. It's worth appreciating in those that have it. They're a blessing if they're in your company, and there's much you can learn from them. Again, this does not mean being a miser and not using your resources when you need it, even if it's you need to do it and it's uncomfortable for you. That's not frugality. That's stupidity. But being sensible about things, sensible about using your resources, living within your means, curtailing your expenditures will allow your budget, your finances to grow and for you to be more secure that way. Simple things you can do in your life also, like making your own lunch. It's more healthy for you. Eating at home more, cooking more at home may make sense at times. And also, I think it brings eating at home, and together as a family is something that brings families together, improves our emotional cohesiveness and resilience as well, and contributes to overall a better state of mind and better emotional health for us and our families. So be frugal and be strong. Take care. Bye-bye.